Women are hardly given the chance to prove their worth in society at the level of their homes. They are relegated to prescribe domestic roles, a situation that strips them of potential of their political voice and potential for a leadership. While the world is evolving, women are still lagging behind when it comes to leadership roles in a business or whatever in a society. Today, only 26% of women are CEO in companies or play the CEO roles. We are asking questions, or the main questions we are asking today are: why are women not picking up in leadership positions, let's say in politics, in companies, in enterprises, in their businesses? What is happening with the women? Why are they staying behind when it comes to leadership skills? We are also asking a question: why are women not good enough to be leaders in their societies where they are coming from? Now, the program is Turn Up, a program that seeks to empower women, and the girl child still does. The program is Turn Up, and we are broadcasting live from Douala, Cameroon. And today we talk about women in leadership, and we are drawing inspiration from the vision of the leading conference capital Yaoundé. We're bringing together close to 500 women leaders from all over the world and those involved in leadership in order to encourage, nurture, and strengthen leadership abilities by encouraging them through capacity building workshops, teaching, motivation, and panel discussion on issues that affect millions of women around the world. Today, we have beautiful women who are also here in the studio to talk about this very important issue or topic that continue to affect millions of women around the world today. The program is Turn Up. We'll be right back. And let the discussion begin. I have women in the studio. There are three, but we'll start with two, and the other is going to join us shortly. I'll start with Patience Akenji. She's very far from me. You're human. No, she's very close to me, rather. She's a human rights consultant. Am I right?
Yes.
Now, what are the other caskets you're wearing? I'm sure not only that.
Well, you know, when we talk about women and women leadership nowadays, that means, you know, it's a milieu where women have to come out with all their potentials.
Okay.
And yes, I'm not just a human rights consultant. I'm actually an international human rights consultant, but I specialize in women's rights and children's rights.
All right. Now, we're going to be talking about women in leadership, and you're the best posture to talk about what our topic of today, which is women in leadership. If you want to participate in today's program, you can send your reactions to the number you'll be seeing on your TV screens. We equally have another woman with us here in the studio. She's called Patience, or Elizabeth rather. Shibiaka, what's happening with me today? I don't know. She's called Elizabeth. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. And you?
Now, you're very beautiful in your dress today.
Thank you so much.
Now, how is your day like as a female and a woman working in the midst of men? How do you see leadership?
Thank you. Leadership. Basically, what is leadership? Let's start with that. Leadership is the ability to direct or guide.
Okay.
And so when we talk about women in leadership, you will come to see that we women are already leaders wherever we are. It's not only those women who are in offices or those who are, you know, CEOs or at the forefront. Back in your home, the teacher in the class, the Bayam Selam, each and every one of us, we are leaders because we direct every day. We guide people and direct every day. And that is just what we're talking about. We want to bring out that potential in women.
Now, when we're talking about leadership, we're talking about women basically. Now, I want to turn to Patience. Now, when we look at society today, do you see that leadership in women? Do women grab these leadership skills?
You know, we have a couple of myths about leadership. And most people say leaders are born. Well, to a certain percentage. That can be true. But you know, leadership skills are learned. And if leaders are born, let's take it that leaders are born, that means women leaders can also be born. Because we have the same women with same temperament, same opportunities, you know, who can be leaders. And when we look at today's world, it's becoming a global world. What do I say, global world? Women now are more educated. Women are open to better opportunities. Women now read more and they understand what's going on. And so, women are standing up to be leaders more than before.
All right. Now, when we look at society, let's take Cameroon, for example. Let's look at our immediate environment. Now, what is your observation, Elizabeth?
Okay, let's look at our environment here in Cameroon. I think my observation and what we can see is that women have been shying away from that title leader.
Okay.
Because they believe it's something that is only meant for a certain group of people. But recently, which I'm very happy about, women are beginning to realize that they too, you know, can be leaders. And I think we're coming out of it.
All right.
You can see us here today, so you know that something is happening.
Is it the same observation you hold when you look around you?
Yeah, that's the same observation, because come to think about it, most of my friends, when I look at them, they are leaders in every sphere where they belong. You know, in companies, in their homes. Because when you are a leader, you become a better person, you become a better woman, you become a better wife, you become a better mother, because you know what you stand for. You know, so I think I have the same observation with Liz.
All right. Now, when we look at the family, does it start right? Let's start from the family. Now, do you identify a woman in that in her leading role in her family? Is it easy to identify a woman in that posture?
I think in the family, you know, the traditional family, we have those stereotypes. We know, you know, the man is the head of the family. We know we're happy with that. We need the men to stand up and lead. But there's a quotation I always like, which says, women, you know, people always say behind every great man, and I keep on correcting beside, because it's a partnership. It's beside. Because if she's behind you, then it won't, it's not a partnership.
Okay.
But when the woman in the home can take that role and be beside, and together they work together, it's much better.
Do you think a woman can easily identify herself as a leader? Can you identify your potentials? Can you identify those leading skills in you? Is it possible?
You know, that's why we are having these conferences, like Leading Lady Conference, because I know the first thing is, you know, the men will ask, why women? You know, with our traditions and the norms, you know, we can't deny that our traditions and norms have marked us. When you're growing up, the first thing you think about is, if you talk about a CEO, the person you expect to see is a man. You're taken aback when it's a woman. When a woman is in a leadership position, the first thing is, there's the tendency to criticize is very high. Look at Condoleezza Rice. Look at Oprah Winfrey. They would probably have more criticisms like
than the men.
But then you see, women, when we have all these conferences, then you open, because it's like the Bible says something. My people are dying because of lack of knowledge. You know. It's because of the lack of knowledge. It's because we are not given the opportunity to know that we have those potentials. So when women hear this, then they know, oh, so I have this potential. So I can be a better me. So I can add value to myself. Yeah. Because
we have women who they don't identify their potentials. They don't know if they are up to something. They don't. Now, where do you start from as a woman?
Okay. As a woman, the first thing we need to learn is that leadership starts with leading yourself. Because when you think of leadership, you're thinking about other people, those who are following me. And that's why women may think, oh, I don't have a following, so how can I be a leader? But no, you start with yourself. You lead yourself. You learn how to direct, to organize yourself, make yourself what you want to be. And that's where the leadership begins.
At one point, maybe we want appreciation coming from somewhere, or somebody coming to say that maybe you're a good leader, maybe it's like a motivation, right? Yeah, you know, when you are yourself and these potentials come out, it's automatic. People are drawn to you because they're like, hey, there is something this woman has. How come she is in that position? Most women are scared to be there. You know, there is something about it, the way she goes about her stuff.
But that's because the woman has, you know, she knows she has this potential. She's adding more value to herself. A woman can be a buyer and seller, and she says, hey, I can be selling in the market, but if I educate myself more, you know, I'll have more knowledge on how to sell what I'm selling.
That's having dreams.
Having dreams, fulfilling those dreams. You know, taking steps to fulfill them. And how do you get about that? You need sensitization sometimes. You need support. So when we even talk about women,
most of these women don't even know where to go to.
Exactly.
And that becomes a very big problem.
Yes.
Exactly. That's why whenever we talk about women, we cannot exclude men totally. You know,
it's a partnership.
It's a partnership. Thank you. So when you see most of the women who stand out, you know what happens? Look at the men they have. Very supportive men. There are those men who believe in them. Those men who have, you know, who know the potentials of their women. So we cannot do this without men. We need them to support their women, to support their sisters.
Because we have some men who kill the ambitions in the women. Now, that type of a woman, how do you advise her? She's ambitious, but she has a man who says, don't even dare. Don't even try. She's scared, and she gets back to herself. Now, how do you talk to that type of woman?
That situation comes up a lot.
Because she thinks that maybe the neighborhood, how people look at me, how would my community look at me, how my in-laws look at me, how my family look at me, and then she says, no, let me not even dare it, because my husband will send me out of the home.
That's the thing. There are many women whose dreams have been killed because they didn't have that support. But what we're learning is that you need to look into yourself. We all have stories. I'm sure if we were to tell them, we'll be here till tomorrow. No, but it comes to a point. Your
personal experiences.
Yes, it comes to a point where you need to look at the situation. You need to rise up. Because one thing, even about people who don't support you, there is a reason. Maybe they feel threatened. But when you show them that, look, we are better when I am better, it will be, they will surely get along with it.
Okay, you're telling maybe your husband,
who
is
brother,
a partner, who
whoever.
is your partner, that if I do this, it's going to better our lives.
For all
it's
of
not
us.
just for me, it's for you, and it's for the kids, it's for the family.
That is
but there are women who don't understand how to do this.
That's true.
How do you push them? How do you motivate these women?
You know, I always start with sensitization. There is something about sensitization. Sensitization opens your head up. There are so many programs that concern women. And because of these programs, that's why some of us are seated here today.
Ignorant.
You know, some are very ignorant, some are still scared.
And then most of these programs are in the urban areas, they are hardly in the rural areas.
And majority of women are suppressed. Their men suppress them because they don't want them out there. Some men, like Liz said, they feel threatened by a woman. You know, or by his woman standing out. You know, he doesn't want that woman. So, I mean, the advice is not for a woman to disobey her man. But it's for that woman to, you know, there is something about pausing, thinking about your life, thinking about the situation. And you ask yourself, how can I go about this? And before, the way you will go about it is not the way another woman will go about it. If I have a supportive husband, that's not a big problem. If you don't have a supportive husband, you start thinking otherwise. How do I go about my man? You understand? Because there's always a way to go about it. Make it, let that man feel like this is his idea. Let him understand why. Let him understand why you have to be yourself. If you're yourself, you'll be a better you. And come on, you be yourself, you will help him better.
Now, I want us to watch this story. It's a message from other women. We're talking about women in leadership. I want us to watch. We'll be right back.
You have to get confident enough to be able to define success for yourself, so that you're not finding yourself going after things just because everybody else thinks that's what you should do. If you're going to be successful, you have to learn to be resilient. It really is about knowing that on the way to your vision there are going to be obstacles, challenges, unexpected turns that will happen, and can you navigate those? And if you can focus on building your resilient skills, then whatever your goal, whether it's relational or financial or professional, you're going to be able to get there. And you're going to expect that it won't necessarily be a straight line, but whatever comes your way, that you have the flexibility and the skills to be able to deal with it and still get to that vision. The biggest takeaway from the book is understanding the power of your thoughts, many of which are so automatic and you've had them for so long that you don't even realize that you may be sabotaging your own success. There is a spiritual component to everything that I write. And so one of the most exciting things to me about the research in positive psychology is that I can line it all up with scripture. I can look at the research around positive emotion, and that it expands your ability to deal with adversity and stress. It strengthens you, makes you more resilient. And I can look in the book of Nehemiah where it says the joy of the Lord is your strength. We know that there's a large portion of the way that we think does have to do with our genetics. Our happiness, about 50%, is genetic. It's just what it is. It's our personality. But a large piece of it is what we choose to do intentionally. How do we choose to think intentionally? What actions do we take every day? How do you set yourself up for success? I talk about that in this book. How do you determine the circumstances that uniquely help you to be able to succeed? It was really an honor and a wonderful surprise to be included on the Ebony Magazine Power 100 list. I know a part of the reason that they selected me apparently has to do with the CAP Institute, my work in positive psychology and coaching, as well as the segments that I've been doing with CNN. So I'm just really thankful to CNN for that opportunity to be able to speak to their viewers on a weekly basis, and really thankful to the companies, the organizations, the churches that allow me to go out and speak, the coaches that we've been training. And really for me a big piece of this is going back to this kind of research-based approach to personal development and how you can grow and go to the next level in every area of your life. I'm founder of the Coaching and Positive Psychology Institute, or the CAP Institute, and so we do training and leadership development, personal development for corporations. We train coaches in a lot of the principles that I talk about in this book, as well as some of my other books. We have launched an online subscription program where people are being coached online through our audio and our video capabilities. And really, it's coaching you each and every month in the different key areas of your life to go to the next level. So I'm really excited about our new online subscription program. Women, emotionally, we tend to have higher highs and lower lows. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about talking to women about taking their thoughts captive and being very intentional about noticing their thoughts is because we are twice as likely to suffer from depression. Women on average today who experience depression experience it for the first time at 14. 30 years ago, the first time a woman on average experienced depression was 28. So when we look at a lot of our cultural and societal factors, they lead you towards depression, right? We're more isolated. We tend to be less likely to live around our families. A lot of people aren't exercising. We know exercise really does affect our thought process. I talk about that a bit in the book. Families are more likely to be broken. All of these different things impact our ability to be happy. And so if you look at women in particular, when we're happy, boy, we are far more emotional than a man is. But when we're down, we're much further down. One of the things that research shows is that when a woman is successful, she will say to herself, you know what? I did that, right? She'll give herself credit for it. She will notice not only that she did it, but she'll notice the strengths that she employed to do it, and she will apply that to other areas. So in other words, you know what, I had this really great success at work. I bet that also means that I can have this success in this community project that I'm working on or in my relationship. I can take that same strength that I had here and I can apply it there.
So inspiring. Women need to get to the other level. You need to start loving yourself right now and try to identify your skills, identify your talents, and then see how you're getting to another level. Now, we'll continue with our topic, women in leadership. Now, the question I want to ask, I want to get your personal experiences. Now, what gets you so interested in this leadership when we talk of women?
Okay, thank you. Leadership, my story. In summary, let me say, every girl grows up with a dream. You know, from the time you go to school, you know what you want to be, where you want to be. But then life happens, as I always joke with my friends. And so it was for me. At the university, I studied geology. There weren't many girls in that department. And you can imagine where my thoughts were, where I would be. Immediately after university, as God would have it, I met my husband, we got married, the children started coming in, and we were out of the country. So with a young family, being out of the country, my husband working full-time, I couldn't really pursue my dream as a geologist to, you know, be where I work in the companies where I wanted, because that would have meant me being away so often too. And so at one point, it's like my dreams went to rest. I concentrated on bringing up the children, supporting my husband and all that. And I always say that in life there are times and seasons. Just because something is not working for you right now, don't think it's over. Because at that time, you know, that was the season for me, I believe. But those dreams were still in me. And with time, you know, things go on, and I started having opportunities. It started where, you know, wherever you are, look at the opportunities there. Don't say, since I'm out of the country, I'm not in my home, I can't have a work permit. I asked myself, what could I do? You could start a business. From wherever you are, you could. And that's what I did. I started a business from where I was running it. It was back home. Whenever we came home, I checked on it, and that began to flourish. So I told myself, just as the lady in the video said, if I'm succeeding in this, I think I can do other things as well. And that's how the business grew from strength to strength. Right now in Douala, I do have a small boutique that I run. And I thought, that's not all. If I can do that.
The dreams keep on.
The dreams keep on. Even though the geology, I wasn't working at Pectin or whatever, I told myself there is something else I can still do. I know the brain, I know, you know, God has put something in me and it needs to get out there. And so we began I started taking leadership courses with the person who is actually the leader, the person bringing in this conference into Cameroon, Dr. Madison Gaffison. And that brought out a whole lot of other things inside me.
Other potentials, hidden skills you could not like easily identify.
I realized that even in my own community, my church community, there were leadership roles that, you know, I began to rise up to at school where the
without
children
somebody telling you.
Without somebody telling you, because you see yourself, you see a need. You see a need and you tell yourself, you know, you're not perfect, but you step into it. It's a risk, you know, you need to try, and when you get into it, you see yourself going. So the basic thing is, even if things are not going the way you thought they would be, it's a season and it's a time. Don't give up your dream.
Now, what has been your major challenge?
My major challenge, I would say, as a woman and as a mother, I'm a mother of 4, so bringing up 4 children and being there for them, being there to support my husband, that was a challenge. At one point, it was like, I need to give up my own things and concentrate on them. But with time...
Now, even with the kids, you did not say you stop there, or because there are women that after having 1, 2, 3 children, they say, no, let me just concentrate on the children. You need to, after a while, you think of doing something else. You're moving up, because you need to take care of the kids. You need to see how the kids move to another level. Now, can we have your own experience globally?
Wow, okay, globally. I would say I was born into a very strong family. When I say strong family, my parents never treated the boys and the girls differently. You know, so we were more in competition. And my dad will always encourage us to be who we are. So I think I grew up with a strong character. Like, I always wanted to do things. And when I got to the university and I studied law, I knew, and I started telling my friends, I don't want to get into the courts. I want to use this law to be able to help the less privileged, because I realized something was lacking. You know, growing up, we grew up in an environment where we always had kids who needed something, or we had women who were suffering, or battered women. So that was my goal. And fortunately for me, it kind of continued in that sphere. While still in the university, I can remember a late Ansan. You know, I participated in the Women and Development Program with her when I was still, like, you know, before my 20s. You know, so I mean, that was a motivation. Then I went further to start doing consultancy with the UN, and we had counseling sessions. We had, you know, all these projects with women. But personally, that was not then was not really a push. You remember when I said the men can also help their women?
Okay.
My late husband believed in me. You know, he always tells me, Patience, after God, I believe in you because you can do anything. You have so much potential. I mean, I didn't believe in myself as much as he did believe in me. You know, so that was a push.
So it was like an
me.
extra push.
Yes, it was really an extra push to me. And then I realized that when I do things, especially, you know, in this sphere of trying to help people, people are always like, wow, you are a strong woman. So when my husband died, you know, I got caught between my kids and my career. He died while I was, you know, I was abroad. I was in law school abroad. So I got caught between my young kids. My youngest kids, my twins, were 2 years old. And the oldest was 4 years old. You know, so, okay, I'm a mother. Before, I had a husband who would not mind to take care of the kids, why I'm adding value to myself. Now I have to add value to myself. I have to have the responsibility of being a mother, especially that they don't have a father. You know, so that was like the turning point. So I told myself, I said, now you are the father and you are the mother. You don't have a choice. You have to stand up. You have to be a leader at home. You have to create something, a legacy for these kids, because there's no father to create a legacy for these kids. So that pushed me to, you know, to create this NGO, Ijang Heart. Ijang is actually my mom's name, but she has a good heart. So Ijang Heart is actually like a consultancy firm, you know, for human rights, especially women and children, which is my heartbeat. And I know no one can take that away from me, you know. So I know that's where my potential is. Yes, so, you know, that's my highest push. I got this down point. That is actually where I paused, and I was like, you know what, you have to move ahead.
That's the bad
exactly.
And the happy moments. I say, I still need to push on.
Which I
still
think
need to leave a legacy for myself.
I think I'm lucky.
Because you have so many women that when they overcome, when they experience a bad moments,
they just stay
at that position. And that's what we're telling women today, that you don't need to do that. You have dreams, you have potentials, you have skills that you need to identify, and then you step up, you move to another level. Now, let's look at some of the factors. What are the factors that make women to shy away from leadership positions?
Stereotypes, definitely, because we know, all know the quote.
Because the men will always like the women who don't want to step up. They don't want to come up. They don't want to take any position. They want, maybe they shy away. They're always behind. Why?
When she says stereotype, you know the first thing I think about? A woman's place is in the kitchen. We have been fed that for like centuries and centuries.
But we have moved on from that.
We're moving.
We are moving.
We are moving.
It's a process. Even this leadership thing, you know, we are not at the peak of it. It's still a process. Even in developing countries, it's still a process.
It's a process.
You know, we are trying to overcome the fact that, you know, you can be a leader. And then you know, women have to grasp this, that being a leader does not mean you have to be only a CEO. You have to be a journalist like you sitting there. You know, you can be a leader in your home. Your husband is the head of the family. But most strong women are the ones who make decisions in that family. They make it through their husband. That makes you a leader. It's like in society, you can have someone seated in the office like a director, but the real leader of that company can actually just be the secretary, because that's the person who has the leadership, you know, qualities, and that's the person who motivates that position leader to act. So, you know, women have to stand up. That wherever you are, you don't have to be educated. You don't have to be
even without your, even if you're not educated, you can still be a leader.
The way you carry yourself, you realize that other people start looking up to you, and that pushes you to be in a place, you know.
All right. Now, what other factors?
When we talk about the stereotypes, I think we talk about women, as we're hearing in the video, we can be very emotional. And you know, when it comes to leadership, you need to think straight, you need to think logic. So sometimes those emotions can get us out of the way.
All right.
So we need to learn to manage our emotions.
Don't you think cultural barriers to play a lot?
A lot. Yes, that's true.
Can we talk about cultural barriers?
Cultural barriers.
Now, to what extent does it like just quench or just kill the dreams of women?
I think a lot. I think it's quite a high percentage. I mean, we don't admit it that much because we think now we are enlightened, but no. You know, there are some things that are embedded in you, it takes time to get off.
Okay.
You know, even some women watching us talking about leadership now, you know the first thing they'll be thinking about, oh, you're saying it, you don't know what you're talking about. You know why? The cultural barrier.
Yeah.
A woman's place, like a woman is less than a man. That's what we know. Most men are more educated. In most homes, they will prefer to send the man to school and let the woman be behind. If there's no school fees, the first thing you think about is, oh, I think the girl can stay at home and learn some trade and let the boy go to school. Yeah, because it's a process.
Even in our tradition, you know, our traditional settings, we see the way it is. Men are the successors. There are many tribes where women aren't allowed to go to certain places. And one thing I've noticed, it's not just, you know, we'll think that that's only in Cameroon or Africa. All over the world, I've realized that the challenges women face are global. They're pretty much the same. They have those cultural challenges and those things as well. But like we're saying, if you see where you are, there may be some limitations, but there is something that you can do always.
Okay.
Do what you can do well.
Now, is education,
and it will make a way for you.
Now, is education a problem as well?
Certainly. When she talks about, you know, school and girls and who would be favored to go or not, that is a factor, because we know that with leadership, education is necessary in anything. For you to take a step forward, education is very important. And that's why we talk a lot now about the girl child, promoting the girl child in education, and
but
all those things.
We've seen women who are educated, but they still shy away.
You know, that it has a lot to do with, it has so many factors, these educated women who shy away. You know, sometimes you look at it, their background, their culture, their background, the people they hang around with. You know what they say about, you know, the people who are around you, those are the people who influence you. We can never underlook that.
All right.
You know, and we have so many voices that we listen to. You know, you hear the voice of your conscience. You hear the voice of your father, the voice of your mother, the voice of your friends, the voice of the Holy Spirit, if you're a Christian. You know, there are these voices that you listen to. The question is, which voice is louder? You understand? There are intelligent women out there who cannot stand up for themselves. And you know they are even more intelligent than you. You're like, what's up with you? But again, we cannot condemn them, because there is something which is holding them back. There is a voice that holds them back. Is it the voice of your culture? Is it the voice of your husband? Is it the voice, like young women who are not married? Is it that voice that keeps telling you that if you are a leader or you have a job, no man will come to you because you are high up there? You understand?
That's what some women
yes,
say.
Yes. It takes
So if you see me laughing,
Even
it's
levels
a
of
big
education.
It's a big problem. It takes a strong woman to say, hey,
I'm gonna be what?
I'm educated, I have these potentials, I'm going to be what I am, and the man who is worth me is going to value me for who I am and come to me.
Okay.
Very little percentage of women will stand and do that. I still know women who will say, no, I'm not going to buy a car, because if I buy a car, I will not get married.
It will scare men away.
Yes.
That's what women say.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I get at the top position, they will scare men away.
Exactly.
If I have the highest degree, it will scare men away.
Exactly.
If I have a big house, it will scare men away. Now, what should women do what should we do?
Be yourself.
That is it. Know that you are okay.
Be yourself.
When you are yourself, the right person will come for you. Yes, you don't need to be less of yourself because you want to attract somebody. The other day there was a comment and somebody was saying, you know, educate your girls, teach them to love themselves, and you know, some other factors. Then somebody commented and said, then nobody will want to marry them. Then I said, no, instead, when a girl is confident, she knows herself, she knows what she wants, she will have a problem of choice, because any real man will want that kind of person who knows where she is and where she's going to. So we don't need to be intimidated.
Now I want to watch another motivational speaker. She's talking about women in leadership. We'll right back and we're going to talk about this conference I'll be holding in Yaoundé in some days to come, because it's in the month of June. We'll be right back.
Through passion, perseverance, determination, you can achieve anything, and recognize there's no instant gratification when wanting to achieve your dreams.
The organisation that I run is a very collaborative organisation, and it's very rare for decisions to be taken which aren't shared decisions.
A male leadership Stalin, I know this is a stereotype, is very much command and control. The books and the theories of it are based basically on military, how to achieve things.
Whilst I might take the responsibility for the bad ones, I'm much, much more comfortable to share the pleasure of the good ones, or to at least make the team feel that the direction forwards is a shared momentum and a shared movement forwards.
I feel much more of a cultural issue. I'm going this way, it's good there, do you want to come with me?
I think if you're looking to be a leader, it's about respect. And it's about, so that's not about, you're not personable, but it is about respect. I'm not there to win the popularity contest. I'm there to gain and win people's respect because of what I do and what I say and what I bring to the table.
I think it's really important that when you leave a room that someone says good things about you. Not that you're liked necessarily, but that they respect the choices that you made and they feel like you have integrity. That's the absolute critical thing for me. Other than that, you lose your integrity, you lose everything.
Possibly it's realising what you're not good at as well as what you are good at. So the moments where you realise that you're not going to be a great writer or you're not going to be a great director, that actually your best job is in actually supporting those people rather than in being them yourself. Maybe those are the moments that are more seminal and start to lead you onto a track which allows you to be really good at what you do.
You have to take a leap in the dark and do things that you don't know that you can do. I mean, lots of my life has been about that. But you can't assume then that you're going to do it brilliantly or perfectly.
I grew up thinking that, leave a situation always better than the way you found it. And so in business negotiations and things, I guess I've not always gotten the best deal for the company, but I've made a deal that the other person felt that it was mutually beneficial. And then over time, that works to your advantage because over time, people will come back and do business with you again.
The motto I try to live by is that I'm anyone's equal, but no one's superior. I think it's both sides that we have to keep in balance. I think we need to be braver and more confident and sometimes repetitive in order to be heard, but not chippy.
I expect to look back on what I did last year with disdain. Is that all I could do last year? Because I'm really always trying to move forward.
Don't look at obstacles as obstacles, but when things don't go right, look at it as feedback and realising that what can you change and do differently. So look at obstacles as opportunities rather than challenges.
If you have something that matters to you, that's more than you, that's bigger than you, that's more important than you, building something that mattered made it all right, made the fight possible.
Within a creative industry, it's finding those people who you chime with creatively and also you have a shared ambition of what you're sort of trying to do. It's having that focus and finishing what you do and making sure that finish is very good and having a standard that you don't go beneath.
In general, as an entrepreneur, I find I'm the boss lady. But if I just said, do this, do that, nothing would ever get done. So most of my time is spent listening. How shall we approach this? Could we do this? What about doing that? And when you have that sort of discussion with people, they grow in stature and the team grows in stature.
You're watching Turn Up on Canal the English, a program that seeks to empower women and a girl child. And after watching that video, one thing I just grabbed from there is women need to look at opportunities and challenges. Look at the opportunities ahead, don't look at the challenges. And we have Monique Fonwing, she has just joined us here in the studio. I announced you earlier that she was in the studio, but she had to join us later on, and she's here today. And how are you today?
I'm fine, Maureen, thank you.
You look great.
Thank you.
Now, I want to ask how do you feel in the midst of men, walking in the midst of men, and in a milieu where you are not given that opportunity, because at times you just like pull it down. We want to get up there. Now, what is your experience like?
Well, it's not quite challenging because where I work, I happen to be in the banking sector, and we have many men. We work, I think we have, I take my committee of directors, we have about 14 members, and surprisingly, of recent, we have 5 women already, and it keeps growing year after year. So I want to think in the beginning it was quite challenging, but as the days go by, women are being recognized. And like I say, the only way you can spring up is to make yourself outstanding in what you do.
All right.
It may be a matter of time, it takes time, but you'll surely rise.
Now, let's talk about the 2018 conference of the holding in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Now, what's it all about?
Okay, we're having a conference, a women's conference coming up in July. That's just next month. The theme of the conference is intentional leadership. We've heard from some of the videos before, it's not just a coincidence. You don't just sit and think it will happen. We need to be intentional about this leadership. And we want women...
Now, when you talk about intentional, what do you mean?
That means you need to prepare yourself. You need to look for the opportunities, make yourself available, rise up to the challenge, educate yourself. So it's a process. There's something to learn to get there. You don't just drop into it. Yeah, so this is intentional leadership. And it's a ladies' conference. We're hoping to bring together 500 women.
Or even more.
Yes, or more. From Cameroon and other countries, neighboring countries. And we even have speakers coming in from the United States of America and Portugal. Who are going to be there with us. So it's going to be starting on Friday the 6th of July. And it will run for 2 days. So Friday the 6th and then Saturday the 7th of July.
All right, now let's look at some of the role models. The people who are coming as guest speakers. Now, so let's look at some of the role models in the conference. Now, who are they? And do you think it's going to be like inspirational to some women, because we have women who look at other women and they try to grab from there and they spring up and then they get to the other level?
Yes, it's going to be inspirational. For example, our keynote speaker, this is a woman who grew out of poverty, abject poverty, but she didn't let that stop her. She's a Portuguese lady, and she is a holder of 5 Guinness World Records. And why is that? Because she saw a need. Sometimes when you're looking only at your situation, it can bring you down. But she saw a need in others. She saw that she was maybe fortunate enough to be alive. There were others who were worse off than her. And she started caring about other people. That brought up the leadership dynamics inside her. And she began to care for children who were less privileged. That made her now, she said, okay, I need a source of income. That gave her something like a reason to work and to live. And because of that, just raising these children and looking for what she can do to keep them alive, it has led her to so many wonderful things. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. You will come for the conference and you will listen to this lady and you will grow from what she says.
She's coming all the way from Portugal?
From Portugal, yes.
For the conference, while others coming from other countries?
From the United States of America, we'll have 4 speakers from there. Yes, and then from within Cameroon, of course, we have great ladies in our nation who will be coming for the conference also. We have a music minister, we know of Auntie Chloe Bomaka. She will be there, and lots of other women who will be talking on various topics. Various topics, who are leaders in their topics here.
Now, what's your motivation?
I want to be a better me. We have various panels. We'll have the career lady, the homemaker lady, the ministry lady, the entrepreneur lady. There will be various workshops. I'm a career lady, and I can't limit myself to that. I want to be a better me. Maybe tap more from the entrepreneur lady, because life doesn't end on a career. So being in that conference is going to be an extra push to me to be able to balance up my career life and other aspects. So it's really an opportunity for all ladies. Mothers should encourage the children, husbands should encourage their spouses, mentors encourage their mentees. Everyone has a place. Do not say, I am too young to be at the conference, or I am too old to be there. You can add value to your life if you make it intentional.
Now, how do you intend to take the message to the grassroots people?
Okay, that's something that has been very much on our hearts. because we want this message to go around to everybody. So beginning with this conference.
Does it mean you have people from different associations that will come for the workshop, and then you intend to use them?
Thank you so much. Yes. So for the conference, we have people coming together from different associations. We have people coming from church groups, women church groups, from tribal groups, from schools and social groups. And that's why we started sending this word out for people to come in from all parts of the country.
Okay.
We want everybody to be there. It's inclusive. Everybody is a part of it.
Now, what is the message to women?
The message to women is that there is something in you. Come and join us and let us encourage each other and bring out that leader in you. You are a leader and you just need to do something to bring out that potential in you.
Are you going to have like this opportunity to talk to women one-on-one? Are you going to have follow-up, Monique?
Yes, we are going to have follow-up. And to add to what Liz said, the message we're
I don't want
taking
to take, for example, somebody coming for the workshop. Is it possible to like do a follow-up to make sure that what the person learns, the person actually tries to like apply it and give some meaning to herself?
Yes, there is. There's going to be that follow-up because we have, it doesn't end at the conference.
Okay.
We have a database.
Okay.
We have a database, and the organizers is Lead Missions International. They're going to use that database to build up a network. It doesn't end at the conference, so there's going to be that follow-up because we are the game changers. We are the game changers, so we need to make that change. And you can only make that change if you empower yourself, and the trainers are there to guide accordingly.
Yes.
All right. Now, what are the different myths that you want to like break? We're telling women to stop. I mean, it's like we say you must not like follow people who don't have a positive mind. It's good to follow people who can make you impact change in your society. Now, what are those myths that we just need to like put aside?
Okay, as she was saying, the different workshops are meeting women at their need at different points.
Okay.
Because we know that there are different myths in the different sectors where we are. As a homemaker woman, there are some myths that are limiting you. As a career woman, there are other myths. As a healthcare worker, there are some. And what Lead Missions, this organization which is bringing this conference to Cameroon, is led by Dr. and Mrs. Gaffison. And this is not the first thing, they are doing. There has been a background of other studies. There has been leadership conferences which have been held and leadership workshops which have been able to build up to the point where they are now. So there's some background where we have been able to identify some of those myths that are limiting women. And that's why during the workshops, there will be a number of different workshops which will help women to recognize, because sometimes you don't even recognize the myth that is holding you back. To first of all recognize those myths and then help you to overcome those challenges.
Registration. How do you do it? If you want to be part of the conference, where do you start?
Okay, registration, it's very simple. There are some posters which I'm sure have been already out on the media and they will be shown here. Registration is just 10,000 francs because we want each and everybody to be able to attend this 2 days. At the reach of every woman. At the reach of everybody. It's a 2-day conference and there will be other things that you will get from that. We don't want to say that, lots of surprises. But there are contact numbers in different regions of Cameroon and it's so simple. You just call any of those numbers on the contact. We know we have many means of sending money. We have the mobile agencies, we have the banks. When your money gets to the financial department, within 48 hours, you will get a code sent to your phone number to prove that you have been registered for this conference. And we are really encouraging each and everyone, register now because seats are limited and you don't want to be left out of
Moni,
this.
are you adding something to that?
Yeah, I just want to say, every lady, you're unstoppable. And the only speed break to your success is you. So if you want to add value to yourself, you shouldn't miss this opportunity.
All right, we've come to the end of the program. I want to thank you, ladies, for honoring our invitation today. Thank you so much. And to women out there wanting to be part of the conference I'll be holding in July in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, we're talking about women in leadership. We want women to grab the opportunities and should stop talking about challenges. The program was turned up. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.